it didn't matter what he did. People always seem to want to discredit Alexander Volkanovski. Not anymore. Because he showed, dude, he comes out to that little song, "Hey, we're going to the land down under." It is like he was laughing and smiling. I'm like, this has to be false confidence. It's not false confidence. This guy has more belief in himself than any fighter I've seen in a really long time, and he should, because he has the fighting ability to compete against anyone.
I gotta say, now there were a lot of question marks that have been completely erased now after that performance, you know, especially the way the fights went down. Personally, okay, I've always said you were a powerhouse in the division. You're a powerhouse of a fighter and you were one of the best. I didn't realize you were that good though.
I'm the type of guy, I'm always going to improve. I'm always going to get better. You're always going to see a better version of myself every time I step in that octagon. And, you know, I guess now people believe me when I say that. You know, you've seen it in my last few performances, and just when people wouldn't have thought I could get better again or even level up again, I'm doing that. And next time I go in, I want to do the same.
Okay, kudos, Alexander. You did a great job. You went all 5 rounds and people thought you won. Guess what, Alexander? I wasn't giving you a chance. I wasn't giving you a chance with Islam Makhachev. Why? Because I just felt he was bigger and too much of that wrestle would probably overwhelm me. But guess what? I am man enough to say, hey, Alexander Volkanovski is a lot better than what I thought it was. You see, what I'm trying to get to, guys, is if size matter, then the giraffe would be the king of the jungle. But it ain't like that.
This guy is so strong. He always try to push you, and his style, you know, a little bit different, and how he move like fast and how he's strong, you know, and he improved a lot in the ground, how he defends. But it was good fight, and for sure it's big experience for me.
You know, Volkanovski, I think if you're a fighter out there right now, especially a young fighter, and you want to really emulate somebody and look at somebody that's a current dominant champion still, as he is, because he's still the featherweight champion, go look at what Volkanovski is doing, whether it's his game plan, his work ethic, his strategy, because the guy shows up and just looks better every single time we fight. Whether it's the trilogy with Max Holloway, whoever he's fighting, he shows out every single time. He's always in unbelievable shape, whether he's moving up a weight class or making that big cut to 145 pounds. He looks sensational. This was an epic challenge, an epic supposed step up in competition. After what I saw, I think he is going to go down as one of the greatest UFC fighters ever.
The new UFC rankings came out, and Alexander Volkanovski stays #1 pound for pound. But the interesting aspect of this is Islam Makhachev said that he expected it. He posted a clip to his Instagram where he said this was expected. He goes, "I never expected justice." As much as I love him, he's my buddy, I care for him tremendously. But did Volk not show us what pound for pound is? Because pound for pound is supposed to be a display of skill that will translate multiple weight divisions. Alexander Volkanovski was the guy going up. He lost the fight, but he showed that his style translates and can work at 155.
I think that for him in that 5th round to come out guns blazing and have that type of performance in the last round of a grueling fight, I think that had a lot to do with why they kept him at the #1 spot.
You know, listen, Islam won the fight, but Volkanovski is still the best pound for pound fighter on the planet. He is that because of the quality of competition that he's faced at 145 pounds. Him, you know, going up, showing a level of skill in all areas, which is at such a high level. For me, he's still the best pound for pound guy out there.
But when you go up and you challenge somebody at a heavier weight class and you come up short, you lose your spot to them. You tried. Now, if he would have stayed at the 45 and fought, you know, whether it was Josh Emmett or Yair or whoever, and got the win there, he would still be there. And I think that Islam would still be at #2. That's how it would have worked out. But when you came up and then you lost to that fighter, you've got to put all the other stuff aside. That's not how these ratings work. That's not how these rankings work. Look, you went up, you tried, you didn't get it done. Now it switches.
This fight was promoted as the winner becomes the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Islam won the fight. Because for as good as Alexander fought, Islam won the fight. He did. He won the fight. And he should be the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Like, let's be real. Did the pound-for-pound number 1 really get settled? He knows that this is going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. I've been there before. I know what it feels like. You know what I mean? And he's going to want to prove. So he was going to want to prove it to people. So, yeah, if he doesn't, we know why.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I need to see a rematch right away. You know, I think what Alexander Volkanovski did was good. I don't know if he needs to get it. I don't know if Islam needs to run it back right now, because the reality is he won the fight.
Volk is different. I don't know what it is about him. He's just special. I see him walk out to fight. I see him smiling, you know, and then when he's in there, he's just in the moment. A lot of guys have different ways of handling it. I have my own way of handling it, but when he's in there, he's in the moment. And I like the fact that I said lately, he's just 10 toes deep. He's not shying away from the cameras now. He just tells them, I'm the best. He said the way they were looking at him like, where's the small boy? I'm like, y'all don't know, man. Like, you don't know.
I know he's short. I have reach longer than him. That's why I planning to try to, and I told all media I'm gonna try to knock him out. I landed many good punch, good knees, but this guy is so strong. And how he's strong, because he's a best fighter in the world before, not now, before. I know my skills, that's why I try to knock him out, but this guy is so strong. I landed many good punches, many good knees, but he still fighting, you know. I give him like big cut, but this guy is a real champion.
Alexander Volkanovski seemingly suggested he needed to start faster. He had a hard time establishing his jab, I feel like really throughout. But I do believe in a rematch that he would start faster and he would be more aggressive. And I mean, there's no denying that the betting line's obviously going to be a lot tighter in a rematch. You know, I think there are a lot of people out there that think the pendulum would swing to Volkanovski in a rematch.
Let's move on. Let me just jump in there real quick. What Volkanovski did, I mean, Islam's widely regarded as the most dominant grappler, I would say. Right? Yeah. He's kind of taken that moniker from Khabib. He stopped the majority of the takedowns. When he was taken down, he got back up. He threatened him in the grappling department. I mean, that is a massive feather in the cap. You know, it really is. And I think, if anything, Volkanovski's stock still rises and potentially Islam drops a little bit, which is crazy. And I'm not talking about the general consensus of mixed martial arts fans. I'm talking about everyone else in the lightweight division looking at a guy from 145 and pushing into the limit like that, licking their chops thinking, oh, I can do a better job than that.
I definitely think the UFC is going to want to see a rematch, so I don't see no reason why they wouldn't do a rematch. I think it would be great. I think the fans would love it. I think Islam would be down for it also, and obviously Alex is, because, I mean, come on, he calls himself Alexander the Great, and he lives up to that name, so there's a reason why he's, you know, and he's such a gentleman. Such a gentleman. Though he's a competitor, you know, he feels he won, but that's the way you're supposed to feel, you know. And he's got the right attitude, and I think at some point they probably will do a rematch.
Islam Makhachev, he's been a great champion. He's really dangerous in the floor, not able to submit Alexander Volkanovski. Tells about what Alexander Volkanovski is, how strong he is, how fast he is, and what is he capable of doing. So I am sure Alexander Volkanovski is a great champ. He's a great person.
Islam Yair versus Volkanovski is interesting. I like that.
Dude, that is gonna be such a sick fight.
16-3 versus 25-2. Jesus. No, I definitely think Alexander Volkanovski is pound for pound the best fighter in the world.
Alex is a phenomenal fighter. You know, from a heavyweight guy, cut all the way down to featherweight. Much respect to him. You know, he's just a good guy. He's a good, clean guy. I don't like these guys because, you know, we're kind of a dime a dozen now, you know, so I like that guy.